at intelligence.
I'm not a celebrity.
Elders. We understand that certain people in certain positions are conferred more deference, more lenience.
I think they
more support. Whether or not it's earned is irrelevant. You are questioning the existence of white privilege.
I'm not questioning
and we know that is just like, a silly notion. And ridiculous to think that influence or exists, but not in regards to your racial makeup. It exists on your economic basis. It exists on your age. It exists on your intellect. It exists on your physical strength, but not on your race. I just want to know, how did that happen? Go ahead.
It's supposed to know. I mean, you think the United States...
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
I mean, there's just no factual basis for this. Do you think the United States... Do you think the United States was designed to put Asian people intellectually on top?
No.
Even though there were no... Really? So how did they know how...
Are you there, brother?
Perform intellectually? Huh?
They said, how do you live... Nah, we were talking about the law.
You want to change subject now?
No, this is the same thing. Can you stop interrupting, bro? Like, come on, man. You're being so civilized for so long, bro.
You were talking about money and...
Can you just calm down for 5 seconds?
I can't help it to hear slow.
Oh, my God.
I'm fast. Don't stop whining and complaining. There's only 2 people in the room.
Are you done? You're still acting like a child.
No, you're acting like a freak.
No, wait, I just changed the battle.
Yeah. This has gotta, I gotta hook up with some psychologists so we can hear.
Yeah, you need one. I'll recommend something.
Bro.
Benjamin, could you make me a mod, and then I will just
manage the situation. But I just wanted to say to Big Zed, do you agree that white privilege doesn't?
Benjamin left.
I do not think that white privilege does not exist. I do think that there is white privilege.
Okay, thank you. Now, El Normo is so vehemently denying its existence. Yeah, we know he's being very dishonest. And my question to you, Big Zed, is how do you live in a world where people are constantly lying? Thank you, profession. I just take it that there's always somebody somewhere doing what fucking El Normo's doing. And I know it has to make you insane.
Yeah.
So how do you do it, Big Zed?
And by the way, some people play victim all the time, Concrete. We got to live in that world too. I offer you as an example. A privileged person who nevertheless pleads victim. It's humiliating for a man to do that, Concrete. I mean, come on, be a man.
How do you do it, Big Zed?
Stop.
No, I mean it seriously.
Me too.
How do you do it, Big Zed?
How do you live in a world with liars?
Not only are they there, but they're constantly lying to you. Yeah. How do you do it?
Growing up.
Sure.
Growing up. Concrete. Be a man. That's what it's called.
I mean, mostly I would kind of agree with him from an American sensibility that America has rampant liars and con men that steal and defraud the public. And it is even, has always even been part of the reputation of America, was some guy just manipulating some fresh off the boat person to their own advantage, whether politically or just for robbery. It's been an old trope of the experience in America. Your question is how do you live? I'm saying Norm is somewhat mostly right in saying it's a grow up kind of a thing. We live in a world with liars, and we train ourselves to be cynical and skeptical about who and what we trust.
So when you say grow up, you're just talking about how I react to it, or how
I'm saying we all take personal responsibility of weighing our own confidence in what other people present as true.
Well, that's not what I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to get at is, how do you stay calm in the face of somebody who is lying to you?
Once again,
and how do you navigate those interactions where it's just a bombardment of lies? What do you do? I'm asking you. I'm asking like in a
Okay. If I had a lie,
methodological way.
I'll tell you this: if I spotted somebody lying about me while I was present,
No, not about you. Just lying to you. Just continuously
lying about something else. Lying about something else to me. I would still feel pretty comfortable if I spotted the lie. Right? I've got the proof in my head. I can just wait until he's done speaking and then dismantle everything he's saying and reduce his credibility to rubble. So, like, I'm sitting pretty.
Yeah, but what about in this type of
I'm not usually like looking to dismantle someone's position and point out their lies or their overstatements. But like, if I had that, yeah, I could immediately, if I wanted to, just disavow everything he just said.
Yeah, but the thing,
just prove it immediately.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're talking about something abstract like white privilege, and he obviously doesn't care about his reputation. Because he wouldn't offer
not with you,
and lie.
No,
right?
I don't care about you.
About whether or not white privilege exists.
Yeah. And he's being like unnecessarily belligerent. And so it's not only just is he lying, but he's like
I think you're
being a child about it.
Okay, Concrete, you talk with atheists, right?
Yes.
Right. And you know that within the objectionist, defensive posture of refusing to understand what you're trying to get at or what you want them to believe and end up doing, they can choose a lot of things. They can question the epistemology. They can question what kinds of things count as evidence. If he wants to object to your claim that white privilege exists and say, no, I don't think so, it doesn't, give him the space to unpack what he's trying to say. Yeah. Because obviously he could be talking about epistemologically. He could say he could talk about ontology. The ontology of white privilege does not ground in existence, right, Concrete?
Concrete, you know what those words mean? Epistemology, ontology.
What I'm saying is, let him talk. If he wants to say
that's a good question. I'll answer his question.
Gentlemen, please. Go ahead, Concrete.
Ontology is the thing in its existence and its essence and its qualities. And then epistemology is how do you know? So that's a good question. And Big Zed, one second. And Big Zed, 1 second, brother. I don't need to give an exhaustive. I don't need to give an exhaustive.
Let's let Concrete go, please.
I don't need to give an exhaustive Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy.
Just go.
Definition.
Norm, please let Concrete go.
Gosh, I'm being hurried now while I'm getting interrupted.
Concrete go. Okay. All right, then. Very well.
I don't need to get...
Congrats, Norm. You scared him away.
I enjoy it.
You're a terror, Norm. A terror.
I am.
Yeah, but see, this is not effective. This is not effective.
Well, maybe we didn't
effective to what end, Jason?
It's not effective to persuading him or discouraging him, right, from his point of view. He's just
I wanted to intimidate him. I'm happy that I did it.
Okay, Jason, do you think that white privilege exists, Jason?
I don't know.
Okay, that's a fair answer. You can say you don't know. Honey Badger, he'll give us a mean, honest response. Do you think white privilege exists, honey?
Yes.
Thank you. Nice and simple. I think so too.
I do not.
Okay, so why do you think it doesn't exist? Since you're the atheist of white privilege in the room.
Well, for one thing, the question of proving that something doesn't exist is a bit of a fool's errand. So the burden is always...
Look at this. He's going to agnosticism so fast he abandons his position. Look at this guy.
Bro.
New atheist.
Normal, you're not good at this.
Guys, you're out of control. You're out of control now. Let Normal go.
I'm not abandoning. By the way, I don't mind that Mixed talks, although don't do it too much. I'm not abandoning my position. I'm stating a principle of discourse that proving a negative is not a thing. When one makes a claim, one must prove the positive claim, i.e., that X, Y, Z exists. True or false? So again, if you give an example, we could examine it and see if it's valid. That said,
Okay.
Since you, but I will add an addendum that I don't think whiteness exists. I think whiteness is an obsolete concept, and it's a broad generalization, a catch-all term that somehow purports to include everybody from Norwegians to Greeks, from Portuguese to Swedes, and these are widely varying people and widely varying cultures. So to somehow try to paint them with this massive brush of white privilege is absurd. I think it did exist historically when we had Jim Crow, and you'll find again.
100,000% we agree.
Yes. Okay. It's okay. I don't mind it. So, but one must point out that Jim Crow, which expressed itself as white privilege, or I would call Jim Crow apartheid, by the way, and I was alive during it. And I'm the first one that I know to call it what it was, which was apartheid. Again, while we were alive. I think there is also an important element of what we call majoritarian privilege. So in Japan, it's Japanese privilege. In France, it's French privilege. In Finland, it's Finnish privilege. So a government and a polity will tend to privilege themselves, and to some extent they have a right. The question is, to what extent do they have that right? I guess I can land it there. So the 2 points are, A, historically yes, but the category of white is broad and I think obsolete. And point 2, is it white or is it majoritarian? Or maybe that distinction is irrelevant. I'll leave it there.
Okay. I do like that you transitioned to first defining what we might mean by whiteness, which is a vague term that deserves definition in describing whether or not white privilege exists.
Just before intruding, just give me a second. Hey, Danny, I want to talk to you about Fiona's behavior. I don't know why she moved.
Could you mute this, Jason?
He doesn't know he's unmuted.
Just give me a second. I want to talk to Danny. Danny's my friend.
Okay, Danny's not here. All right.
Okay, so in terms of the definiteness, you're going to get that you have a legal reality in the past, but that through legal reforms we have removed.
Okay, he's in the Matrix there. Not Smiler. Dr. Schomburg, welcome. This is the Muslims versus the Megatron of Catholicism. Rabboni Shalom. You're also in my new house, Issa Watermelon, the Issa Kuntz Show. We're on page 60. Silence then to the Pharisees of the new synagogue. Silence to the hateful traditions of the schools, to the arrogance of Presbyterianism, to the absurdity of Jainism, and to all those shameful and superstitious interpretations of the eternal dogma, so justly stigmatized by the pitiless genius of Voltaire. Voltaire and Napoleon died Catholics. And do you know what the Catholicism of the future must be? It will be the dogma of the gospel, tried like gold by the critical acid of Voltaire, and realized in the kingdom of the world by the genius of the Christian Napoleon. Those who will not march will be dragged or trampled by events, immense calamities may again hang over the world. The armies of the apocalypse may perhaps one day unchain the four scourges. The sanctuary will be cleansed. Rigid and holy poverty will send forth its apostles to uphold what staggers, lift up again what is broken, and anoint all wounds with sacred oils. Those two blood-hungered monsters, despotism and anarchy, will tear themselves to pieces and annihilate each other. After having mutually sustained each other for a little while by the embrace of their struggle itself. And the government of the future will be that whose model is shown to us in nature by the family, and in the religious world by the pastoral hierarchy. The elect shall reign with Jesus Christ during 1,000 years, say the apostolic traditions. That is to say that during a series of centuries, the intelligence and love of chosen men devoted to the burden of power will administer the interests of the wealth and the wealth of the universal family. And that day, according to the promise of the gospel, there will be no more than one flock and one shepherd. Subnote, I do not say that Voltaire died a good Catholic, but he died a Catholic. Christian authors unanimously hold that, like all heretics, he repented on his deathbed and died blaspheming. What on earth does it matter? Life, not death, reveals the soul. The number 16. 16 is the number of the temple. Let us say that the temple of the future will be when the spirit of intelligence and love shall have revealed itself. The whole Trinity will manifest itself in its truth and in its glory. Humanity become a queen, and as it were risen from the dead. We have the grace of childhood in its poesy, the vigor of youth in its reason, and the wisdom of ripe age in its works. All those forms which the divine thought has successively clothed will be born again, immortal and perfect. All those features which the art of successive nations has sketched will unite themselves and form the complete image of God. Jerusalem will rebuild the temple of Jehovah on the model prophesied by Ezekiel. Does somebody smell something? Can everybody please check their shoes? I smell like somebody's maybe stepped in some shat outside. Can everybody check their shoes, please? I smell something here. I think he lives in Brooklyn or New York. A particular smell. Oof, nasty. Check your shoes, everyone. Let's continue on. Oof. Jerusalem. Oh my God, the scent is overwhelming. Jerusalem will rebuild the temple of Jehovah on the model prophesied by Ezekiel and the Christ. New and eternal Solomon will chant beneath roofs of cedar and of cypress the epithalamium of his marriage with holy liberty, the holy bride of the Song of Songs. But Jehovah will have laid aside his thunderbolts to bless with both hands the bridegroom and the bride. He will appear smiling between them and take pleasure in being called Father. However, the poetry of the East, in its magical souvenirs, will call him still Brahma and Jupiter. India will teach our enchanted climates the marvelous fables of Vishnu. And we shall place upon the still bleeding forehead of our well-beloved Christ the triple crown of pearls and the mystical Trimurti, From that time Venus, purified under the veil of Mary, will no more weep for her Adonis. The bridegroom is risen to die no more, and the infernal boar has found death in its momentary victory. Lift yourselves up again, O temples of Delphi and of Ephesus. The light, the god of light and of art, has become the god of the world, and the word of God is indeed willing to be called Apollo. Diana will no more reign widowed in the lonely fields of night. Her silvern crescent is now beneath the feet of the bride. But Diana is not conquered by Venus. Her Endymion has wakened, and virginity is about to take pride in motherhood. Quit the tomb, O Phidias, and rejoice in the destruction of thy first Jupiter. It is now that thou wilt conceive a god. O Rome, let thy temples rise again, and side by side with thy basilicas be once more the queen of the world and the pantheon of the nations. Let Virgil be crowned on the Capitol by the hand of St. Peter, and let Olympus and Carmel unite the divinities beneath the brush of Raphael. Transfigure yourselves, ancient cathedrals of our fathers, dart forth into the clouds your chiseled and living arrows, and let stone record in animated figures the dark legends of the north, brightened by the marvelous gilded epilogues of the Quran. Let the east adore Jesus Christ in its mosques, and on the minarets of a new Santa Sofia, let the cross rise in the midst of the crescent. Let Muhammad set woman free to give to the true believer the Horus, or the Huris, which she has so long dreamt of. And let the martyrs of the Savior teach chaste caresses to the beautiful angels of Muhammad. The whole earth reclothed with the rich adornments which all the arts have embroidered for her will no longer be anything but a magnificent temple of which man shall be the eternal priest. All that was true, all that was beautiful, all that was sweet in the past centuries will live once more glorified in this transfiguration of the world, and the beautiful form will remain inseparable from the true idea, as the body will one day be inseparable from the soul. When the soul come to its own power, will have made itself a body in its own image, that will be the kingdom of heaven upon earth. And the body will be the temple of the soul, as the regenerated universe will be the body of God, and bodies and souls and form and thought and the whole universe will be the light, the sword, the word, and the permanent and visible revelation of God. Amen. So be it. Subnote, it says, it is amusing to remark that this very symbol is characteristic of the Greek church, and that's the crescent, which he has been attacking. Levi should have visited Moscow. Okay, number 17, the equinox. 16 is the number of the star. It is that of intelligence and love. Warrior and bold intelligence, accomplice of divine Prometheus, eldest daughter of Lucifer. Hail unto thee in thine audacity! Thou didst wish to know, and in order to possess, thou didst brave all the thunders, and affronted every abyss. Intelligence, O thou, whom we poor sinners have loved to madness, to scandal, to reprobation, divine right of man, essence and soul of liberty, hail unto thee, for they have pursued thee, and trampling beneath their feet for thee the dearest dreams of their imagination, the best beloved phantoms of their heart. For thee they have been repulsed and proscribed. For thee they have suffered prison, nakedness, hunger, thirst, the desertion of those whom they loved, and the dark temptations of despair. Thou wast the right, and they have conquered thee. Now they can weep and believe. Now they can submit themselves and pray. Repentant Cain would have been greater than Abel. It is lawful pride, satisfied, which has the right to humiliate itself. I believe because I know why and how one must believe. I believe because I love and fear no more. Love, love, sublime Redeemer and sublime Restorer, thou who makest so much happiness with so many tortures, thou who didst sacrifice blood and tears, thou who art virtue itself, and the reward of virtue, force of resignation, belief of obedience, joy of sorrow, life and death. Hail Megatron! Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Muslims versus Megatron of Catholicism.
Correct. I like this title of this room. That's why I came in here. I really felt like I got something back by kicking 65 Muslims today out of a room, just a short time too, about 4 hours. Coming back in the room.
Let the games begin. Let the games begin.
They keep flagging my room.
I know. You know, it's really annoying. I have YouTube accounts that keep going down for community guideline strikes for hate speech, and I'm sitting there playing music, just live streaming Clubhouse in the background. When I stop playing music, somebody says something ridiculous, and it's like, you know, you can't even Clubhouse is hard to live stream because there's just so much profanity, vulgarity, and extreme concept, and you know, it's a cesspool. I call it the garbage dump, really. And I'm like a garbage man who goes around collecting garbage daily. And the greatest thing about my garbage business is I don't have to make the trip to the dump. That's the coolest thing. It's like a magic garbage truck, you know, because the hard part about doing the garbage picking is, you know, you can only pick up so much garbage. But then you got to spend hours driving far away from the city center to just dump all the garbage. And then people on Clown House go to the garbage dump to pick up my garbage and bring it back to Clubhouse. It's like, you know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I mean, who would have ever thought that you could spend so much time collecting garbage only to have the garbage be brought back to where you picked it up? It's a garbage mystery. Some say garbage in, garbage out. But I say, you know, got to pick and choose, you know, the garbage you want to hang on to, I guess. Because you can't destroy it. It's just like infinite amounts of garbage. And, you know, garbage. Allahu Akbar. It's so crazy to think that, you know, after we know how Muslim men do LGBTQ, like in Afghanistan with Bachi Bazi, to think that hadith, you know, about Aisha being a boy is controversial. Let alone, they're not even concerned about the fact that he's raping a child. They're more concerned that it's a boy and not a girl because that would make the prophet gay. But how are they not even concerned that he's raping a child? I don't get it. Like, did they just miss that?
I'm trying to give them an out by saying, well, maybe it was a boy, and this is what like men did when they got older. Back then, this was like royalty. I'm trying to run them down this thing that like the Jews did during the Second Temple period. I'm trying to like go, oh well, he wanted to be more Jewish possibly, or like more like Paul or some shit, right? And I'm trying to fucking get them to just they won't even budge on it. They'd rather her still be a girl than be a boy. It's fucking disturbing.
No, but then because she was a boy.
Thank you for admitting that. You know how long it took me for someone to admit that? Thank you so much. I've been waiting for God knows how long for somebody to admit that. I appreciate that.
Excuse me.
No, I appreciate that because
you're welcome.
Because I still think she still is a boy.
Barth, let me ask you a question. Do you believe in the papacy?
Papacy?
The Pope. Are you a follower of the Pope in the Catholic Church? You are, correct?
Papacy. The papacy.
Papacy. Are you so?
Papacy, yeah.
Okay, so you believe in the infallibility of the Pope, correct?
No.
So then describe to me, how would you describe the Pope?
Man in office.
Okay, so he's just the president, basically. That's what Pope means. He's the president of the Christian faith, or Christendom in a way, for the West. But then he's got all these offshoots that he's got to deal with. Like, did you know there's a Pope in Spain? Have you seen that Pope and his videos and the magnificence of that church?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I see it on Facebook all the time.
The Spanish Pope, Alexander.
Anyways, my point is, I was going to ask this earlier in your room, but you kicked me to the goo. And my question is, like, even if, we debate like a million different conversations and, you've got an infinite time to do all the debates, I've heard it said that the now is always the point. And so in that way, the material world, or, the subjective world, is ultimately always the point of the subjective. So how do you rationalize what you do, knowing that, in my opinion, obviously, I'm framing it this way, that the now is ultimately always back to the point. I like your style and your shtick, and I think the God conversation is the way to go. But you're always left with the same outcome. So how do you do you concur with that in a way or no? Hello?
I think you're right.
Hello?
I think you're right. I think that I am a glutton for punishment. And I've tried my best to make peace with the Muslims. But I think my arguments are so potent